Welcome back to a NewsX exclusive. Over 58 MPs are overstaying in five-star hotels as they did not like the accommodation, can you believe it, allotted to them by the government. The Lok Sabha Secretariat has now asked these MPs who continue to live in five-star hotels like the Ashoka Hotel and several other ITDC hotels to move to their accommodations allocated to them immediately, or they will have to foot their own bills. As of now, very few of them are in a mood to do so. Union Urban Development Minister Venkaiah Naidu is expecting to chair a meeting in the next few days to resolve this issue, but these MPs have decided that they are not going to move, and their reasons, their excuses range from the bizarre to the piffling and worse, betray a sense of entitlement that doesn't behove our elected members of parliament. Worse, over the years, and specifically over the last 9 months, crores of taxpayer money has been sent to put them up in these lavish five-star hotels. There are several questions that arise on the back of this story. Why, for example, do MPs, why are they given free accommodation in 5 stars? Why do they only insist on living in 5 stars? Why can't they stay in other suitable accommodation, clean, wholesome accommodation? Why does it only have to be at a 5-star level? Everywhere in the world, in Britain, in the United States, MPs don't get government accommodation. Ministers don't get government accommodation. Only the heads of state receive them. US senators do not get any official residences. They get an allowance, just like any salaried employee gets a HRA or a house rent allowance. They're given a certain amount. They said, go look for a suitable accommodation within your budget. Here, taxpayers have to pay to keep our MPs, yes, all 750 MPs, or whatever the number is, in 5-star luxury and comfort. Some are overstaying their welcome in Latyan Zones bungalows. Not only do they get free gratis stay, but they get perks, they get free electricity, bijli, pani, or very subsidized electricity, bijli, pani. I have the list of perks here. X number of telephone calls, they get gratis emoluments to spend on transport facilities, they get petrol bills. It's a very cushy life. Yet, when the government provides them accommodation, these individuals look down upon them from their petition noses. It's shocking. And I want to throw this open for debate. We spoke to a number of these MPs. A large number of them didn't want to appear on camera. We are going to catch up with each one of these 58. Each one of them have come out and offered some really outlandish excuses for not wanting to move in to their allocated residences. Some of those excuses are out there on your screens. Let's bring in some of our guests. Let's go across to Shazia Ilmi of the Bharatiya Janata Party. She joins us. Jaiveer Shergill is also there. Dilip Tahil is joining us. Also, Sumant C. Raman. I want to first, and also, of course, Kamal Mitra Shenoy of the Aam Aadmi Party, a party that resolutely lobbies against VIP 5-star culture. So let me first bring in Sumant C. Raman to get a sense of what the Aam Aadmi, so to speak, is thinking. The bona fide Aam Aadmi. Sumant C. Raman, where do you stand on all of this? We need to foot their bills. They want to stay in 5-star hotels. They don't want to stay in any accommodation. It must be the top of the pops. It must be in Latyan's bungalow zone in a beautifully equipped jacuzzi bungalow.
Yeah, it's entirely our fault, Rahul. It's the people's fault for having let this reach this stage. Because successive governments, look, this is not a BJP, Congress, nothing. All parties are united as far as this is concerned, and this is an issue which no party has been willing to bell the cat. People have been overstaying in government accommodation for years together. No action has been taken. Hardly ever have arrears been collected from any of these people who have chosen to vacate the bungalows on their terms, and obviously putting them up in 5-star hotels. Look, all the other perks, there have been several proposals in the past to double or even treble the emoluments which are provided and then remove these perks, because these perks are actually ending up costing the government far more than even if we paid our MPs 3 or 4 lakhs a month and let them take care of all their expenses. Now this is a fundamental problem, and I think that we should not look at this as a political issue. Let some political party come forward. The same thing happens at a lower level, at the bureaucracy level. So I don't think it's fair just to single out
Let's ask the
MPs
party,
or
the ruling party, the
politicians for
party
this.
in power.
You will see the same thing happening at the bureaucrat level as well.
Out of the 58, a significant proportion are from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Shazia Ilmi, where do you stand on this? Why aren't these individuals out?
No, I really would agree with the preceding speaker. You know, I really think it's unfair. First of all, even if Ashoka Hotel, which comes under the government, is being used, and it is a government, it comes under the government, the idea is to allow for even a government property to make money.
No, one
Just
second.
like Air India was used. So much as I
It's
belong
still
to the
the
BJP,
taxpayers.
I really totally
The corpus,
want to be
the
honest
corpus
about
that
it.
is
So the
allocated
least
to
these
Ashoka
MPs can
Hotel,
do,
just like Air
whether
India
they're
comes
from
out of our
BJP
pocket.
or PDP from Aam Aadmi Party, is to
No, Shazia Ilmi, it all comes out of our corpus.
the least they can do is find accommodation for themselves. Even if Ashoka Hotel comes under the government, this is what they did with Centaur Hotel. And you know what happened to Hotel Centaur?
No, it's all very well
So
to tell me all
government
of this.
properties
I know
are
about
just a
this,
sense
but
of
why are these
entitlement.
individuals there
It's
for
almost
9
as if
months?
being in public life means this.
No,
And
why
I
are they
really
there for
feel-
9
I feel
months?
something must be done about it.
No, I know, but why 9 months later? You know how much money has been spent? Up to 25-30 crores have been spent. 9,000 per day, 9,500 rupees per day we are splurging on these individuals, because you know why? Some of them are turning up their noses at government accommodation. You know, we all work in the private sector. Dilip Tahil, you know, you are a private citizen. In which company does the company boss, you know, unless you are really
know,
the CEO of the company,
absolutely.
give you
Absolutely,
gratis
not
stay?
just that. Imagine is costing.
No, I know. So thank you for telling me the obvious. Shazia Ilmi, what are you doing about it?
It's costing the exchequer.
Sorry.
But listen.
Throw them out.
No. But, I'll do whatever. I'm voicing my concern on this. I can take it up with the BJP, with my leaders.
9 months.
That's the best I can do.
Well, Dilip Tahil, it's not a good enough explanation.
That's the best
They've been
I can
caught
do.
with their,
And
you know,
yes, sir.
they've been caught out.
Yes, sir.
Why not just give them a monthly house
Good
rent
evening to
allowance
you.
of 50,000 or something?
No, Dilip Tahil, now
They can get an
it's
apartment.
a post facto contrition. We don't need post
Hello,
facto
can I speak?
contrition. Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Yeah, a very good evening to you. And the core issue here is that all of this is taxpayers' money, and we have to be very aware and let the public know in full transparency why each government, not just this government, but every other government is in the public sector for this very reason. They own hotels, they own airlines, so the people who work in the government gets these perks. And this is what has become attractive to people to join the government. And they consider it now that it is their right to spend taxpayers' money. I think this is a deep-rooted issue that has been part of the psyche of India ever since independence, actually, that you know, this disproportionate kind of spending that people in the government sector have.
Yes, J.V. Shergill, will the Congress party reimburse the exchequer, reimburse the citizen?
Rahul, just allow me 30 seconds, and I'm going to be very candid. All the questions which you're raising is very aptly, more than aptly answered in a Supreme Court judgment called Abhay Singh versus State, when you will recollect, we were dealing with the red light issue and said, any entitlement or abuse of entitlement not sanctioned by the law is reflective of Raj mentality. The word used is Raj mentality, and goes against the basic feature of republicanism, and it is exploitive. And I'm going to say something in favor of the citizens. Clause 71 of the housing rules deals with transit accommodation. The words used are hotel, bhavan, guest, free hostel accommodation, and it is exploitive. And I'm going to say something in favor of the citizens. Clause 71 of the housing rules deals with transit accommodation. The words used are hotel, bhavan, guest, free hostel accommodation. Nowhere the word 5-star is used. So I agree today, if somebody is saying in the 5-star, I would call it an abuse of the entitlement, which should stop, reflective of a certain mindset. The government, whoever, even if it was Congress or now BJP, can make alternative arrangement, whether it's the government bhavans or other normal, as you said in the beginning of the debate, hostel accommodation or a free clean flat if the law has to be abided, that is the housing rules of 1976. And thirdly, to keep check on this abuse, the onus is on the MP. The law says that too, that if you overstay or if you, we will only give your rent, if you are eating something, if you are overstaying something, then it is the individual duty of that MP to reimburse the government first for this blatant abuse of entitlement. So I think all those MPs, irrespective of the party line, if they are abusing their entitlements, first they should reimburse the exchequer.
How many have
That is the
reimbursed?
first step that has to be taken.
Well, you know, I love the way
The rules
both the
provide that.
BJP and the Congress today are giving us post facto contrite answers. Why has it taken NewsX to expose this massive fraud on the people?
No, Rahul.
Why does it take a
Rahul.
news channel to slap this on the face of the two political parties? And there's several others.
Rahul,
There's
this
TRS,
is
there's
going on for
TDP.
years.
No, I
It's
know.
not new.
So why haven't you done anything about it? If the MPs don't want to regulate, what are your parties
parliamentary
doing?
Committees, Rahul, parliamentary committees travel all over the country.
No, one
They
second, let's
always
ask
stay in
him.
five-star hotels. They
Mr.
never, ever stay
Shergill,
in government
Mr.
accommodation.
Shergill,
Sorry.
we have
Go and
some
see
members,
parliamentary committees. All the time they stay in five-star.
some members of the UPA, some members of your party who have overstayed their time in government bungalows and accommodation in the Latvian zone. It takes a newspaper article or an expose to expose that. Now we've come up with a different angle on this entire fraud that is being perpetuated, and both the political parties have put their tail between their legs and said, yes, this is very bad. So what are you doing about it, sir?
No, Rahul,
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Shergill,
I'm
what are you
sorry,
doing
that
about
was a
it?
distortion. I'm sorry. Yes, I'll tell you what we are doing about it.
Tell us.
In the recent past, when our ally, Mr. Ajit Singh, was overstaying, refusing to vacate,
talk about your
Congress party
MPs.
was the first one to condemn it. No. Our own
Condemn is
MP,
okay.
if somebody
Reimburse.
is abused, if there is, entitlement,
they found a new
there is
way.
an unlawful public premises eviction act, the proceedings
Come
are
on,
going
Mr.
on.
Shenoy
when
says
somebody
you
from
found a
Congress
new
party
way.
is defending.
You found a new way. Come on,
No,
Mr.
no,
Shenoy.
I am just talking.
Yes. I will give you a first-hand report.
Tell
I'll
us.
give you a first-hand report.
Tell us.
MPs are taking private housing, expensive private housing, and the housing is paid for by companies. And obviously, they are giving something in return. This is even more dangerous. Of course, the taxpayer is not
Where
paying
was Mr.
directly,
Kejriwal staying? I
but
would
the
like to ask
people
him
who
that.
own the houses have to pay in lakhs to get these people out. And this has been told to top members of various parties, including Mr. Shergill's party, right at the top.
Mr. Shergill, very strong allegation.
Rahul, I think
Strong
I think
allegation.
Mr. Shenoy is from the Aam Aadmi Party. I think Mr. Shenoy is from the Aam Aadmi Party, the gentleman speaking, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
Rahul.
he is.
Correct me.
Yes,
Can
I'll
I ask
still be
him,
there.
where will all these arguments when Mr. Kejriwal was making every possible attempt, A, to grab that house, plus overstaying that house, plus refusing to pay the rent for that house? Where will all these arguments and sermons then?
Do you know
At
that
least
your
I'm being
member,
candid enough and
do you
not
know that
being
your
hypocritical
member
about it.
has been staying in a house?
Please
over-
answer.
Staying in a house in Sundar Nagar.
Mr.
for
Shenoy,
3
please
years.
answer me on
There's
Mr.
a big
Kejriwal's
difference.
state. I have
There's a
been
big
candid.
difference.
I have been
It's a
candid.
big
Yes,
difference.
people have been overstaying.
No,
We
but you are
condemn that.
misleading.
You please,
because
please
you
be
know,
candid with Mr.
you can
Kejriwal's
count.
state.
There is a big difference between the quality of life and the rent in Kosambi and Sundar Nagar. It's a difference of probably
I am
100 to
talking
1.
about his
So you are
government
being,
house. It's
you
a
are
matter
not
of
being
because
honest.
he refused
You are
to pay
covering
rent.
up
Please have
by
your facts
comparing
right.
two things that can't be compared. And Kejriwal was dealing with government. This guy is dealing with a private company which is paying for him and fighting for the case against the landowner. This is really a kind of theft. Arvind Kejriwal wife is an IRS officer. She was entitled to a house,
who is this?
but
Name
because she was Arvind Kejriwal's wife, there was discrimination against her. Go ask anyone in the IRS.
But
They'll
name
say
this
is the case.
person. Kamal Mitra Shenoy, name this individual. Let's get it all out in public. Who is this individual?
All right.
Name.
The company is Dunlop,
Dunlop.
which is a Sikh company, and the minister, former UPA minister and former MP, is Akhilesh Prasad Singh, staying in my house, my ancestral home. I can't afford that house, 19 Sundar Nagar.
There you
And by the
go.
way, the builder of that house
No,
was the
First-hand
leader of the
experience.
Congress.
Rahul,
That's shocking.
No,
That is
Rahul,
absolutely
let-
shocking. We're going to
allow
follow
me-
up this case.
First
Do
hand
give me all the
account.
documents.
first
Come on,
allow me
Mr.
a
Shenoy.
rebuttal. Rahul,
Please,
Rahul,
reply,
first
sir.
you express your shock. Let me allow a rebuttal.
Please, go
Let me
ahead.
allow a rebuttal.
Go ahead, sir.
Being a true Aam Aadmi Party member, once and again, Mr. Shenoy has exhibited they love to make allegations without any backing, any document. All the principles that
I'll
they're
show you all the
super
documents.
hypocritical about
I've
it.
got all the documents.
Yes,
they're
please.
court documents.
Rather than coming
You
and
think
being
I'm a fool?
irresponsible.
I've
I
won
know
in
you are
3
the,
high court judgments,
At least-
including a division bench.
At least-
I have more documents than
At
you have
least-
got
Rahul,
Kosambi.
we are getting diverted.
No, it's an important issue. This is a fraud. And you see, it's come about in the same
And the
context.
Congress is involved.
It's
the
the same
Congress is
context. There
involved.
is a massive
state
claim that has
company
been made
does
here.
File a
not pay its
complaint. What are you
workers in
waiting for?
Calcutta. It is involved.
Mr.
Rahul,
Shenoy, what are you waiting for? Go file a
Rahul,
complaint.
both parties,
Yes.
all parties are doing the same thing.
No, they're all
I
doing
have
the
an
same
immediate
thing.
order.
I don't know
The
about
other
that.
side will appeal.
Issue. All
So it will
parties
be
are guilty.
No,
stalled
let's-
for 2 or 3 months more.
Okay,
I've
well-
already won 3 cases in the High Court.
Well, Mr. Shenoy, this is phenomenal. If this is actually what has happened, well, it is absolutely shocking. This is a shocking instance of overreach. There is no other way of describing it. I can't stand in judgment since the matter perhaps is, being sort of sorted out in court. It is sub judice, but on the face of it, it doesn't make our entitled politicians look good. Mr. Tahir, this is a rot. Is it good enough for these two politicians here on this show to say, oh no, we know this, it's very bad, and we are going to do everything to clean up the rot? This doesn't look good. This doesn't wash.
Well, to be very honest, this rot has been, as you say, it is a rot, so it's been there for years and years and years. I mean, it is almost understood for any government servant who कहते हैं कि भैया दिल्ली में आओगे या कहीं भी जाओगे बहुत बड़ा मकान मिलेगा, पानी के पैसे नहीं होंगे, भाड़ा नहीं देना पड़ता, एयर इंडिया पे आके पूरी परिवार को लंदन में हॉलिडेज मिलेंगे, ये होगा वो होगा. I mean, it's been known for such a long time, but nothing's been done about it because everybody, whichever party comes in, everybody pats everybody's back, and they're all beneficiaries of the fraud. So, who is going to solve the problem? As you quite rightly, the gentleman earlier said, who is going to bell the cat? It's very unlikely to happen.
Yes, Mr. Sundaraman, and I want Shazia Ilmi to give us a response
Rahul.
to this. Yes.
Rahul, I think this is one of the reasons why people are getting more and more disillusioned with the Narendra Modi government. I know that there are a lot of things which are very difficult to do. People realize that you can't have a bullet train running in 6 months, or you cannot implement large infrastructure projects in 10 months that they've been in power. But these kind of things, for instance, the position that they took on 66A in the court, which is very similar to what the UPA did, though they sort of tried to say that they said something different. And this, I mean, why can't the BJP call its MPs tomorrow and say that you guys will have to vacate the 5-star accommodation? It will
and
create
pay
so
us
much
back.
of goodwill in this country.
And pay
But I
us
think
back.
that this is a huge problem, and they are
20 crores
behaving
at last
exactly the same way,
Pay us
exactly the same way that
Pay the people back.
UPA government behaved.
Shazia Ilmi, pay the people back. You see, it's okay to
I
express
would like to-
righteous indignation, but what about action?
Yes.
We want a refund.
Yeah, I think I'm making absolutely, Rahul, I think you're making a fine point, and I think it's really important. Either you say that all political parties are bad, the rot has gone too deep, and every party you will, I will talk about Bhagwant Mann, somebody will talk about Akhilesh Prasad Singh, somebody can talk about BJP MPs and SP MPs and then BSP. But I think it's really important right now to, yes, Narendra Modi government should be the government that decides things. But if you look at the SIT on black money, if you see the advisory to bureaucrats, if you look at high-end corruption, I think something is being done. But yes, a lot more needs to be done. And I think all the more reason, instead of being disenchanted by politics, there should be more and more
But
honest
these are the
doing
easy
people who
things to
feel
do,
strongly about it,
Shazia.
to
These
enter
are
all the
easier
parties
to do.
and make a difference.
These are easier
and put
to do.
pressure
It
on all
just
the
takes-
parties equally. And I think
These are much easier to do.
people like me who can never. There should be more and more
But
honest
these are the
doing
easy
people who
things to
feel
do,
strongly about it,
Shazia.
to
These
enter
are
all the
easier
parties
to do.
and make a difference.
These are easier
and
to
put
do.
pressure
It
on all
just
the
takes-
parties equally. And I think
These are much easier to do.
people like me who can never do something like this, we can either leave politics and say, look, this is too horrible, or we can. And there are many people like us. There are many people like us, and I'm not the only one, Or we can do other things which can pay us more, because some of us don't believe in getting being corrupt and getting paid out of this.
Mr.
Out of
Sundararaman,
cunning
are you
favors.
satisfied
So
with this
the
response?
idea is now really to
Are
for
you
even
satisfied?
taxpayers and people to
No,
revolt
see,
against
my
this. And I think,
problem,
no, I
Rahul,
think lots more
Rahul,
need to be done.
this
is shocking to
these
me.
are really
And I
easy
think this
things
has
to
been
do
going
if
on,
there
and
is a will.
most politicians,
Rahul,
most
look,
bureaucrats
this is not
are
something.
guilty of this. I've seen it happen myself.
Calling
And many
your own-
journalists do the same.
Rahul, calling your own party MPs, many of whom owe their seats in parliament to you, calling them soon and telling them, look, this is not acceptable and the party will not accept this kind of behavior, is something that can be done in one day. It is not a legal process. It is not something which requires elaborate planning or execution.
Of course, I'm
It
sure
can
it
be
will
done
be.
in 1
And I can
hour
promise you
if
it
the
will be.
government
No, no,
has
no,
the
no.
will to
I
do
can
it,
promise
right?
you
Shahjah
it will.
That
Ilmi.
is what is disappointing.
Shahjah Ilmi, go the extra
I
mile.
can promise you it will be.
Go the
And it
extra
should be.
mile. Stop this. Stop this. Stop this entirely. Get completely rid.
If I
of-
could, I would.
No, get rid of
If
these
I could,
persons.
I
No,
would.
1 second. I just want to bring her back in here. Shahjah Ilmi, I
think
just
this
want
is
to
the
ask
reason
you a
why I'm in
straightforward
politics.
question.
Rahul, they should be given good, high quality accommodation. There is no two opinions on that.
Not free.
But that does not necessarily
They should
mean
be made to
five-star.
pay
They
for
could
it.
They could be given a house rent allowance of 50, 60,000
Absolutely.
rupees.
Give them an
It will still
HRA.
be cheaper
Let them find-
and will enable them to get a
And
good
yes,
accommodation.
I have another point, Rahul.
Yes. No, Shahjah Ilmi, what about giving a house rent allowance of 50,
Rahul,
60,000
also,
a
all
month?
MPs, including...
And that's it?
I don't think they should
Rahul,
be
that's
given
not
house rent
enough.
allowance. The way
That's
MPs
not
fight
enough for the
elections, so
houses
much
they
of money
want.
is needed.
They
Most
want
of them are
houses where
capable
the
of paying rent for
will be
themselves.
3 or 4 lakhs.
No, I'm saying
You know,
that
I think they
give
the
them an
very
allowance
fact
as
that
part
they
of their
contest
salary.
elections means they're capable of spending a certain amount of money.
Dilip Tahil, I think the
And
best
after
way
all,
out,
they were living elsewhere.
the best
They
way
can
out,
ask-
the best way out is to give them a HRA, house rent allowance, in which they have to pay their bijli, their pani, and their rent.
that happens.
Why shouldn't that be? Why shouldn't that be de rigueur? That should be the norm, not the exception.
Well, I mean, I feel that whichever system you put in place, whether it's a house rent allowance or in hostel accommodation, which there are MLA hostels, and there should be more member of parliament hostels as well for precisely. It should be transparent. I mean, it should be out in the public domain as to how is this person paying their bills. How much is the taxpayer is liable to do? What is the taxpayer suffering on these bills?
Important point.
This is all covered up. Nobody seems to know about it. There don't seem to be any. There's no transparency. The taxpayer is just being taxed in every way. Every single tax in the country is
Shahjah
being
Ilmi.
increased, including your tax
That's
to
an
live.
important point.
And in the meantime, you find members of parliament incurring a bill in a five-star hotel.
Shahjah Ilmi,
I mean,
that's
where's
an
the-
important point.
I mean, how is this proportionate
Can we
to?
expect that from the BJP?
RTI application can bring this information. I think any RTI application can bring this points across, and I think Ashoka should not be treated as a government accommodation place, but a five-star place. And it should be allowed to make money from regular people just like any other place. You're not here to milk the cow, especially because it's comes under the jurisdiction of the government. Which is why there's so many sick PSUs. So if you really want to reorganize the economy and reboot it, you have to look at how Air India is being run, how Ashokas are being run, how all the PSUs are being run. So I think it's really important to look at how the functioning of Navratna and all the PSUs.
Yes.
So this is a very important part, and I really believe BJP will do something about it. And from myself, I can assure you, I will work towards it. This
Okay.
is my promise. And now let me go to another channel.
Okay,
first,
well,
I'm late
you
for
carry
it.
on, you carry
Thank you
on.
so
We're
much,
just going to
Rahul.
take a
This is my
short
promise.
break, and we're going to analyze India's defeat in Australia. And that's coming up in just 2 minutes. We're going to look at the reasons for that debacle. We're going to examine it, and we're going to find some answers. We're coming back. Don't go away.